All right, welcome to another Fox 411. Today we have Thomas. Is it Higher? Your last name
Higher.
is
Yep.
Higher, yeah. You got a lot of vowels in there.
Yes, I do.
You do.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, you said I could call him Tom. That's
Mhm.
great.
Yep.
Tom is from the CG Health here in town, and we're here to talk about a couple of different things. One of them is vaping, especially with teenagers. So let's just jump right into it. Vaping. What do we need to know about vaping? You see it everywhere.
Mhm. And that's the thing. It's becoming more and more popular as new products are coming out, and especially popular among teens. The
Mm,
biggest thing around that is that a lot of teens don't know the dangers of vaping, so they're doing it for different reasons and not realizing the impact it has on their health, not only their physical health but their mental health as well.
yeah, I think that mental health probably thing that tells us is that it looks cool.
Mhm.
Just kind of. You remember when cigarettes first came out? Well, probably not,
Oh
but
yeah.
because I barely remember that. But yeah, it was just looking cool.
Mhm.
It just
Absolutely, big
looked
popularity in high
cool.
school and
Yeah,
college.
yeah, and then all the
And
dangers came out about it afterwards, after the fact.
yes, and that's exactly what we're seeing with e-cigarettes and vape products is that a lot of these young people are saying they'll try it or do it because it looks cool, because they want to fit in, and because of the
Mhm.
flavors.
Yeah.
All of those sort of aspects.
Well, and I think I just read too, I think they just came out with fruit flavored ones
Mhm.
or coming out soon or whatever, and yeah, they're trying to make it as appealing as a cookie,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
stuff. So what
And
should
with
we know as I guess I'm a grandparent, but
mhm,
so what my guy I have grandkids that are not teenagers yet, but they will be in a few years.
mhm.
As parents or grandparents, what are some of the stuff that we can notice? I guess obviously if they have a vape on them, we'll know right away. But
Well, that's the thing. I'll start there, is that a lot of these vapes and the marketing around vapes are pretty clever. You may not always know if it's a vape or not.
hmm,
And there's even now um, programming and showcases called hidden in plain sight, where you can look at these certain products and you wouldn't be the wiser, and it's actually a vape product. And I
hmm,
have it in front of me, but real quickly, I like a zip drive. I have
yep.
there's some that looks like zip drives that are so small that they can just sort of
Oh,
use.
sure.
People may
Yeah.
not know, and things like that. So really, maybe not being able to place a product at all, but also just the dangers in general is that all those vape products are going to have nicotine, and nicotine's
Mhm.
highly addictive. A lot of those teens think they're just inhaling or vaping water vapor, which is not the case. It's um, typically aerosol, and with that, there's going to be a lot of other harmful products outside of the nicotine as well. So highly, highly addictive
So
with that.
it's just as harmful as cigarette
Mhm.
smoking. I mean, really. I mean, think
Yeah,
about it. I mean,
I
I
would challenge that.
I think that we heard when it came out it was a safer alternative.
Mhm.
Is that what we first were told?
Yep, correct.
And it's not.
Mhm.
And it's not. I did not know that there was nicotine involved, and
Mhm.
as soon as you say that, well, that's just as dangerous as smoking. Of course, I realize there's other harmful chemicals attached to that as well,
Mhm. Yeah,
and
and there's still research and data coming out with e-cigarettes and vapes, but what we're finding is that those dangers are very much there.
yeah, go ahead and
And yet,
expand on that, on the dangers of all this that we
mhm.
don't know.
Well, of course, with nicotine, it's highly addictive, and so a lot
Mhm.
of teens are wanting to try the vape and e-cigarette because it looks cool, because it looks interesting, those flavors, and a lot of them do it because they say it helps their mental health. And then as they continue to do it, that nicotine is becoming more and more addictive. And then a lot of things we're seeing in the cigarettes with those harmful chemicals, you're seeing in those e-cigarettes as well. So
Can
whether it's
you?
formaldehyde or
Yeah.
other household products that you might see.
Can you liken this to maybe some other addictions like drinking and all that? Because 20 years ago, I went to treatment for alcoholism,
Mhm.
and I learned that it was more about my issues.
Mhm.
And I think that's probably, and that falls under the mental health umbrella.
Mhm.
That you got to realize that there's a lot of issues that a person carries, and how do you deal with that?
Mhm.
That would be right up there with that, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely. And Yeah, with that, a lot of teens who share why they're vaping, they typically say because of their mental health, because of their anxiety, because of their depression, they're overstimulated, things like that. And in the moment, they might think that's helping with their
Mhm.
anxiety, with their depression, with their overall mental health when they take that hit, because they're getting that dopamine hit, because it
Yep.
feels good in that moment. But in the overall big picture, it's not helping their mental health as well. It's
Yeah.
actually making it worse.
Dopamine, it that quick feel good thing,
Mhm.
but what you really need to strive for, I'm telling this to everybody, serotonin. That's the longevity of the
Mhm.
good feel that you want to get to. Dopamine, yeah, it's just like anything else. It just gives you that quick hit of and let's face it, anxiety. I mean,
Mhm.
that is a huge issue with so many people. Um, you know, I can actually claim that I'm pretty chill
Mhm.
and stuff, and but there it can go into other things like eating disorders and
Mhm.
all kinds of stuff or whatever. But this is a quick fix, I'm sure.
Mhm.
That people are, I don't know. As long as we're talking about teenagers, what's the big thing that's I guess, getting into their head on the mental health thing. Anxiety, you mentioned, of course, but maybe
Yep.
peer
Anxiety, I
pressure?
would what's that?
Peer pressure?
Peer pressure. Yep. I would say depression can be a part of that as well. Social media,
Mm,
as much as that is a wonderful thing, it can be very harmful and
mm,
challenging for young people because that can be a big thing as well, with trying to fit in and the popularity and everything in that regards with um, just trying to make it through middle school and high school. And that can be another one of those things that can affect the mental health. And with teens, I'm always talking to them about coping strategies and what those positive coping strategies look like. And if they're going towards those more negative coping strategies, that's where they then connect to those substances, whether it's alcohol, whether it's e-cigarettes, vapes, or other substances.
So what kind of advice do you have for parents and grandparents out there first?
Mhm.
And then we'll talk about the teens because we have all ages that are watching these videos,
Mhm.
the podcasts, the audio and the video both. Uh, I mean, just let's talk about what do you have to say to parents or grandparents out there?
Yeah, I would say start having the conversations young, and not only conversations about mental health, because I think it's important
Hmm.
that we advocate and have those conversations about mental health, not only with the adults in our lives, but with the teens in our lives as well. And then we have conversations around substances and even just trying to talk to young people, not so much cornering them and asking them what they're doing, but maybe what they're seeing with their peers, what they're seeing in school, if people their age are vaping, are smoking, or drinking, things like that, just to kind of get an idea of no, my friends aren't doing it. It doesn't really happen at school, things like that.
Mm,
And then just try to be mindful of even maybe some of those behaviors as well, which
yeah.
can come with vaping, which can be more disconnecting from relationships, disengaging from activities, things like that.
Is there an ignorance factor? I guess both with a teenager and maybe the parents as well.
I think there can be, and I have little ones myself, so I get that where it's like my kid would never do that. My kid would
Yeah,
never be in that group that is drinking, that is smoking, that is vaping, so I don't have to worry about that. But it never hurts to have those conversations just to
sure,
see what's
sure.
out there.
We have the information, by the way, scrolling here, of course, at the bottom. If you want to get a hold of CG Health or you even give them a call, do you get calls, and what are the calls about? Same stuff we're talking about, or what?
So we usually don't get calls. What's really nice with my colleague and I, we do a primarily the prevention at CG Public Health, and we have sort of an anonymous, anonymous
Yeah,
I can't say it, a thing
anonymity.
online. Yes, anonymity, where you
Okay.
can go online and ask questions. So it's specifically for teens, and they can ask any questions they want. A lot of them are around healthy relationships and sexual health, but they can ask a lot of questions around vaping as well.
What's the
It's
biggest
typically
question you get? Probably.
the biggest question.
Yeah,
A
the
lot of
most
it's around
common.
those healthy relationships
Oh, okay.
and things like that with sexual health. It's usually in the classroom where I'm getting more of those conversations around, or more of those questions around vaping and e-cigarettes and things like that.
Yeah,
And most of it is, it's not that bad for me, and it is good for my mental health, which is
right.
not the case at all.
And let's face it, we live in an area where there's a lot of shops
Mhm.
around, that sell it.
Yep, they're selling it, and they're selling it to minors, and we as adults know
Wow.
that, the teens know that, and they're taking advantage of that.
I don't
And
even
it's the vape
know.
shops making money, so they have that opportunity to
I'm
have
gonna
that happen.
sound a little stupid here, but how old do you gotta be to vape, I guess? Uh,
21.
21,
Mhm,
okay. But just like anything else, when you're a teenager, you're trying things,
mhm,
and, they somehow, some way they get it. It's just like, I don't care how old you are, there
mhm,
was a way to get, alcohol when you were a teenager and probably drugs as well, and this is just another one of those where they'll get it if they really want it.
mhm, absolutely. They'll find a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, there's a black market for about anything, I guess.
Mhm, absolutely.
So, you said, okay, so this is an online questionnaire or whatever. And that's how so you answer them as they come in or whatever. I guess what's the course? I guess of if somebody wants to talk, about some of this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So on our website, it's called Ask the Experts. And so
Okay.
a teen can go right on there and ask any question they want. And then typically my colleague and or I, within hopefully 24 hours, will respond to them. If they want to have more of those conversations, we're always happy to continue to email them, call them. If we have them in class or we know they're in the school district we are in, we're happy to sit down with them and talk and provide more resources as well.
Yeah, and the purpose of this is so we get the word out, so there is somebody you can talk to about
Absolutely.
this. And
Mhm.
do you get more parents, you think? Or I know it's anonymous, but do you get
Mhm.
more parents calls or do you get more teenagers
I
asking
would say
questions?
more teenagers.
Really? Okay.
Yep, yep, and we have opportunities to sit down with parents as well and things like that, and it's just a matter of, depending on the topic, having those conversations and getting those questions answered as well.
Yeah. And you mentioned that the relationships seem to be the biggest thing that are involved with our teenagers'
Mhm,
mental health right now.
mhm.
And social media doesn't help, of course. So we talked about that. And everybody has got, I don't know, man. It's just, you just got to learn how to, with a teenage mind, you deal with this all the time. I mean, there's a lot of things, a lot of
Yep.
input that
Mhm,
that's coming in like wildfire, like a bunch of
mhm,
ping pong balls right at your face,
mhm.
and stuff. And I mean, if you're a teenager, how do you get through all that? How do you?
Yeah, that's a great question, and, their brains aren't fully developed, so not only are we trying to, you know, teach them things day in and day out, they're hearing things in school, they're hearing things at home as well. And so it's just a matter of how can we connect with them to make sure they have the skills, the confidence to be able to have those healthy and mature relationships, but also being able to stay away from those substances, right? Because their brain's not
Right.
fully developed, because it's going to negatively impact their body. How can
Mhm.
we make sure that they are resisting those temptations?
Exactly. Do you or CG Health in general, do you have some stats about just to wake us up a little bit about what's going on here in our own county, Saragota County or Mason
Ooh,
City or anything like that about some stats, I guess, of hey, there's 10% of our kids are trying it.
mm.
Anything
I,
like that.
I wish I had local statistics. I don't. I was just
Okay.
looking
I
at
just curious.
yeah, at national statistics, but it's a pretty decent number with teens who are actively vaping every
Yeah.
single day.
Yeah. How are we going to get rid of this, Tom?
That's the $1 million question. I
Yeah.
think we need to continue to put policies in place, not only in Iowa but in CG County as well. We need to be able to somewhat, which I know sounds weird. We're working with the police department, but also being able to work with those vape shops to make sure they are complying with
Complying with
laws.
everything. Yeah.
Right? They're not selling to minors. They're not selling things that aren't even on the market yet that they
Hmm.
shouldn't be selling. And so just making sure that's happening. And then I think prevention is key as well with
Sure.
teens and talking to them about the dangers because a lot of the times they don't know the dangers.
Do you
They
see
know.
us having as a society, people, let's face it, you hear about people quitting smoking all the time.
Mhm,
Um, will we have this also with vaping?
mhm. Yep. And we actually have, there's a nice website out there for teens to help them. And it's anonymous, it's free, it's confidential, and just the opportunity for them to really go at it at their pace, right? If they're not
Mhm.
ready to quit today, what would it look like to start next week, to start in a couple weeks, to really sort of take away that sensation and that wanting to vape every single day.
Sure. I should have asked this in the beginning, Tom. What is your role there at CGL?
Yes, so I am the population health coordinator.
Okay.
And I wear lots of hats because I do mental health trainings. I work with adults, but mainly I'm working with those teens around healthy relationships. And we're having more and more of those conversations with mental health and substance misuse because those are all connected, right? A
All
healthy
right.
relationship requires, um, hopefully, good mental health requires, you know, to be able to have those conversations even around substances as well.
Yeah. Do you think we're failing as parents and we're not
I think,
talking enough to our kids?
I think as a parent myself, we're all doing the best we can right now, and we all have a lot of our on our plate. And I think it always helps to open the door and have those conversations, even if we are confident our child would never do that, would never experience that or go near it, to still at least have those conversations to see what they're
Yeah.
thinking. Because believe it or not, we can learn a lot from our kids by talking to them.
We can. I remember growing up, I was a teenager in the 70s. Okay. So I'm going to say I was a farm kid.
Mhm,
I bored? Yes, because I was a
mhm,
kid,
mhm,
but I also had stuff to do. I had a
mhm,
lot of stuff to do. Um, you know, Boredom has got to set
mhm,
in a teenager's life at some
mhm,
given point. That's probably why, as parents, we got them involved with so many things.
mhm,
We because we want to keep them busy. Sometimes I think we got them too busy. Sometimes, I mean, they got to have some free time in there, and that's the important part right there.
mhm,
That free time. How are they spending their free time?
mhm. Exactly. And that's a large conversation I have with teens as well, is there enough to do in North Iowa, in Mason City, to keep them busy and active and
Mm,
away from the things we want them away from? And yes, there are going to be some teens who are overworked, who are overcommitted with sports and extracurriculars and work and things like that. And so it is tough to find that happy medium for sure.
For parents out there, or for that matter, grandparents, sometimes you get grandparents that have to act as
Mhm.
parents with their grandkids. Can you give us two or three questions that we can sit down with the kids and ask,
Mm,
other than just, "Hey, what's going on?" or "What's going on with your life?" or "What are you thinking
yeah,
about?" I mean,
that's
that
a
kind of
great
stuff.
question.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I would say, and there can be a lot of parents who know the friend groups, which are great. And if they don't, ask about the friend groups. Like, what do you like about your friends? And even with
Okay.
partners too, what do you like about your girlfriend? What do you like about your boyfriend? Um, what, you know, motivates them? What motivates you? Um, and then, even trying to subtly sort of mix in there with, even if a person, or even if you saw something on TV, or heard a radio ad about, such as today, vaping, things like
Mhm.
that, to be like, hey, I was listening to this ad on vaping. It seems like it's pretty popular among teens. Is that something your friends have ever done?
Yeah.
And teens are smart. They know when, people are fishing. But what I've heard too in so many things I listen to is that teens want to talk to parents. They want them to ask questions. They
Mm.
want to open up. So just to have that opening for teens to be like, yeah, I have one friend who vapes, and they're really into this flavor, but it's not really my thing. To be like, okay, like tell
Mm.
me more about that, just to really start having that conversation on what that looks like without pressuring too much. Because again,
Right.
you apply the pressure and teens don't want to talk. Young people don't want to talk.
And I think as parents, we probably have to do a good job of not being aggressive
Mhm.
behavior or passive behavior. A lot of
Yeah.
us probably are passive,
Hmm.
but if we can somehow, some way get in between there and just have, hey, listen, I care,
Hmm.
you know, and, that's what we need to do. I
Hmm.
think
Yeah.
as parents is just act like you care and just have a normal conversation. I think
Mhm.
that's when you get your very your close relationships,
Mhm.
between your parents, and it's like, hey, you're raising your kids, how you raising them, you
Mhm.
know,
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah,
all
and I
that.
I tend to be a reactive person, so that's something to be mindful of, especially if a parent maybe finds a vape. They know it's an
Mhm.
e-cigarette. They know it's something that contains nicotine that their teens shouldn't be doing. And instead of being reactive about it, instead of yelling
Yeah,
and grounding them, have those conversations.
yeah. Be
Why did
assertive. That's the word I was coming up with.
yes,
Be assertive,
be assertive.
instead of the other ways, where it doesn't sound like you care or you
Yep.
care too much. And,
Mhm.
I think we were kind of raised on, well, the more aggressive they're just passionate. They care. They're
Mhm.
compassionate
Yeah.
towards their kids and stuff. Yeah, but they're not going to listen. They're
Yeah,
going to listen to a bunch of yelling and stuff. So,
exactly. So ask the
mm,
questions. Ask the
so ask the
questions, and the
questions.
and the kids will respond.
All right. Well, it's scrolling, but for the people that are listening right now, Tom, how do you get a hold of CG Health, and where can they go for more information on a lot of this?
Yeah, so you can go to our website right on the bottom there, cghealth.com. You can always contact me directly as well if you have specific questions related to any topics around healthy relationships, substance misuse. My number is close to the one we have on the bottom there. It's 641-421-9330. And then my email is theier, it's THEIAR at cghealth.com.
Wonderful. Tom, thanks for the time. Keep in touch and keep doing the great job you're doing.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
You betcha. That's our Fox 411.